Hello everyone and welcome. David O Donoghue is my name from DOD Fitness. I work as an online fitness coach and I also work full-time in law enforcement. And today I'm just going to go through a few items that Patrol Store have kindly gifted to me. I'm going to give it an honest, in-depth review so that you have full confidence when you're choosing your products that are going to meet your needs for whatever kind of background and work you're currently doing. So let me start and get stuck in, and I'll give you an in-depth analysis as we go through it. So the first product I want to go through in my review is the Magnum boots that Patrol Store have kindly issued me. Firstly, I'd like to kind of show you the boot that I've been wearing up until this point. It is a Magnum boot as well, and I found them quite good, so I was more than happy to have received this particular boot from Patrol Store. Let me just show you what kind of condition my boot is in from the last 2 years of wearing it. So as you can see, it's in decent enough condition for 2 years of wear. You can see here on the front of it, on the toe, it has been scuffed unfortunately, and I haven't been able to remove that kind of a scuffing. But overall, the boot is still in good condition. You can see the grip that's on it, and it's quite light. It doesn't even feel like you're wearing a boot. It actually feels like you're wearing a runner. So let me get stuck in on the boots that I've received today. Here is how it arrived, and you can see here, the box that it comes in is the Magnum brand, and if I just open it, it is wrapped perfectly in the Magnum branding paper, and we can see they are brand new. Now, if we look at the grip on these, it is much better grip than the last pair I've had. They're also Michelin rubber, and it is slip and oil resistant, so it's quite durable, and it's good knowing that you have the confidence that the grip is going to keep you on your feet and you're not really going to have accidents on duty. It's also quite light and very similar to the last pair I had, which is good to know, because personally I would much rather a boot that feels like a runner than have something heavy and clanky that I'm walking around in all day. And I do know that Magnum boots are top level for comfort as well. Now, the one difference about this Magnum boot is the side zip here. So we can see it has a Velcro topping, and when you zip it down, it still has this leather on the inside. Now that's good because it's going to be great for waterproofing the boot, and we can see even on the inside, that leather is just all part of the inside of it. A nice, comfortable insole in it as well, Magnum Power. And you can see here, it even guarantees the waterproofness by the label as well. So I am definitely in safe hands wearing a Magnum boot on duty. I'm going to go through in another part of this review my honest feedback on how I found it operationally and how it compares to the last Magnum boot I've had. And rest assured, when you go and you think about what boot you want to wear on duty, I'm sure you'll have full confidence in the Magnum brand. What's up guys, I've given the Magnum boots a bit of a tryout. I've worn them for a while. I've seen how they feel, how they look, are they practical for the job, and to be honest, I'm going to go into the depths of it and give you my insight and feedback in relation to those certain aspects of it. So first and foremost, putting on the boot, it was a bit tricky, won't lie, new boot, it's a bit stiff. However, the zips on the side of the boot are very practical in terms of giving you that bit more space for getting the boot on and off. Getting it on then and tying it up, it was felt very supportive. There was good ankle support in it. The boot itself, it's sturdy, it's very light. Like I said, it did feel like a runner compared to the last Magnum boot I had. The support, the grip, everything about it was really good. The only thing that I didn't really like about the side zip is when trying to zip up one of them, it was getting caught on the inner leather. So it gave me a couple of goes on undoing the zip and doing it back up before it tied in nice and snugly. Now the fit itself is quite snug. I was saying it does give very good ankle support. You really feel that when you're getting in and out of a car, for example, you're on foot walking or running, there is that added comfort in knowing that if you do have a fall or you have a slip off a footpath, for example, your ankle is not really going to give way with that sturdy, firm support around it. The grip on the boot itself and the sole is great. I've worn it in wet conditions and dry conditions. I can safely say that it does have that anti-slip effect to it, and that, you know, I'm not going to be out there concerned that if I run, for example, I'm not going to fall over in those wet type of conditions, even on a slippery metal surface, whether it's a manhole cover or steps, for example. The grip is very good in that regard too. So I've tried and tested the Magnum boot. I've tried it in the field and comfortably worn it outside of work as well, and I can honestly say it's a great boot. What I do like about this Magnum boot version is the side zip here. Now, as we can see, it zips down fully and it has this leather inner part inside the zip. So it gives you a bit more room when you're trying to slip it on. And when we look at the top of the boot, you can see just how much space there is for getting the boot onto you. When you get the boot on, of course, the lacing up obviously has a bit more support. And I did find that the laces were quite useful in how they're designed, that they're thin, they're rugged, they're durable. They get the job done, and of course the ergonomic look and aesthetic pleasing of the boot is quite significant. It's a full black boot. You can see here, even on the inside, it's fully black. It has a very comfortable sole in it, and overall the look is quite a tactical appearance in its nature. So the main thing is, if you're looking for a comfortable boot that you can keep on your feet all day long, this one is a great one to have. The inner sole in it is quite supportive, it's comfortable to wear, and I had no pains whatsoever in my feet from standing all day wearing these. In fact, they provided really added comfort to that kind of duty, particularly if you're someone that's on a static post and you're not really moving about or getting much time to sit down. I did like that I could come back after work from a 12-hour shift and not have those complaints of a cheap footwear boot compared to what Magnum offer in that department. Very comfortable. I would definitely rate them at least a 9 out of 10. The only way I would dock a mark for it is the initial wearing of it. It does take time to break in a boot, so you can have that bit of discomfort starting out. But overall, I think it's a great boot for comfort all day long. When it comes to the weight of the boot, I can safely say these feel like a runner. It doesn't even feel like you have a boot on your feet when you're wearing them. Compared to my last Magnum boot, they were like runners too, very lightweight, and these are pretty much the same feeling too. The benefit obviously when it's lightweight is it doesn't feel discomfort wearing it for a 12-hour shift, for example. You can wear it throughout the whole shift and it doesn't even feel like you have a boot on. In terms of a rating, I would rate these about a 10 out of 10 for lightweight feature. Now, let's talk about the support. That is the main thing that I'm concerned about when I'm working in terms of a boot. I want to have support on my ankle just in case we have a slip, a tumble or a fall, and I want that reassurance that my ankle isn't going to give way, as if you're wearing a low cut boot, for example, or a shoe. These boots are great in terms of support. You can see just how high they would come up. These come right above the ankle when they're tied up, and then when it locks in and it zips up and it's tied, it does give that concrete feeling around your ankle, and you can be rest assured with a Magnum boot, you're not going to have any fear of that blowing out. So in terms of support, I would definitely give the Magnum boot a 10 out of 10. Next, let me talk about the durability. Now, I have worn these. I've worn them in the field. I've worn them in wet conditions, dry conditions. I've worn them in grass areas, concrete, tarmac, and I can say that they are quite durable. There's been minimal scuffs to them. Even trying to break them in, we can see that they haven't creased a whole lot, whereas my other Magnums, they did crease quite rapidly and there was scuffs on them that I couldn't remove. However, I can say these boots, the durability of them is quite good. Even the side zip here, it's a highly durable zip. It's not one that you're going to pull and it's just going to fall off. I found it overall, the boot, even with the lacing itself, they're quite durable laces. They're not cheap, they're not flimsy, they're not going to rip on you easily. And I can say that this boot ticks the boxes when it comes to durability. They're going to last you a long time. If these can last me as long as 2 years compared to my last ones, I have high hopes for the Magnum boot. Next, let me talk about the waterproofness of this boot. As you can see here on the side label, it does specifically say it is a waterproof boot, and I can vouch for that too. Having worn them in wet conditions, my feet did not once get wet. They were still quite dry in terms of that heavy downpour and giving me that protection in those types of conditions. If you're someone that's working in a very wet environment or climate, these would be an ideal boot for you because they have that feature, and you're not going to need to worry about being on duty, about being away in an operational environment where the climate really has bad aspects to it, and you might get yourself stuck in a downpour, in even low puddles. For example, you're going to keep your feet dry. There is quite a high sole in it first and foremost, but the aspects of the boot that are waterproof are very beneficial for you if you're in that kind of circumstance. One big thing for me when it comes to a boot is breathability. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to a waterproof type boot, it does lose that breathability feature. With Magnums, I have found in the past that even wearing them in summer conditions, there's not a whole lot of breathability. And I can say the same for this boot. It does lack that aspect in terms of not having your feet sweat too much in the boot all day. And unfortunately, having worn them in warmer conditions during the summer, I can say that this boot doesn't have too much breathability. You can put them on for short periods of time and not suffer so much, but if you're someone that's wearing them all day long, you are going to take your foot out of the boot and you probably will have a bit of a damp sock from sweating in them. It's a drawback from it, but I think overall, the other features that I've talked about massively outweigh the breathability lacking in this boot. If I was to give the breathability a rating, I would say it's probably about a 4 out of 10, because whilst there's not a lot of room and movement for airflow, you will still have a bit of sweatiness to deal with. Next, I would just want to talk about the practicality aspect of this boot. It is a very neutral colour, it is black, and they are very lightweight. They have a good grip, they have a good support. So if you're someone that's on your feet all day working in a shift environment where it's going to be dynamic, you might be in a station environment, you might be in a patrol car, you could be out on foot, for example. It's very versatile, it's very fitting, and it covers a lot of aspects that you might find yourself facing on a day-to-day basis. So I can say in terms of a practicality, this boot is about a 10 out of 10 for me, and my personal preference would be to wear this boot over another boot for the features that I've gone through in this video. So guys, I hope you found that review useful, and when it comes to buying a product, you will have full confidence on making sure it is the right fit for you. I want to extend my gratitude as well to Patrol Store for providing the product to me, and with that, I would really appreciate any support that comes on my page. You can find me online on DOD Fitness. As I said, I'm an online coach, but I work in full-time in law enforcement, but I'm there to help people in that particular niche market as well as other emergency services workers.